everybody, and welcome to our radio.com live FANDEMIC. And there he is right there, the one and only Tyler Joseph. How are you feeling physically? How's your wife, your baby, and how are you feeling upstairs here?
I'm doing well. Look at me. I'm dressed up. I got dressed up for you guys. So I'm
This is, you may be the best dressed and the only person who has worn a tie since quarantining begun. So congratulations on another record for 21 Pilots.
Thank you. That's what I'm here for.
We are Stryker and Klein, and Tyler, I may need you to help me out here because in our long history of having some very fun chats, your partner has always been part of the session. And now that he is not here for this particular one, I'm feeling a little bit off. I'm feeling like, I don't know if I can do a good job. How are you feeling without your partner not here this second?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it is a shame that just simple friendships kind of get put on hold. But we still chat. We keep up. He's doing great. We're doing all right. It's been interesting, but man, what a great time to create and write. And so I know probably a lot of artists and musicians and just are doing that right now, but it is truly an awesome moment to, there's a reason why I live out in Ohio. You know, the gloomy weather brings out some great songs. And so what better than a gloomy world event than to maybe create some great art. And I'm hoping people are using their time wisely to do that. I really think that even though this is, a really trying time for everyone, some really awesome things will come out of it. I'm really hopeful for that.
We chatted with you most recently. It was December, and we all got together. We were allowed to be within 6 feet of each other. Yeah. And it was, I think, before your child was born. And the rumor that I started online immediately was that you were going to replace your partner with your child once they were born. Now that you are doing an interview, a sans partner, is there any truth to the rumor that I have started on the internet that you have created the newest 21 Pilot?
She has her own little tiny drum kit.
Yep.
She's starting to take some lessons, and I got to tell you, when I'm playing the piano and she's playing the drums, for a second I'm not looking over. It just feels like it's Josh over there, and so you better look out. They've got the same energy.
I have many questions about level of concern, but before we do that, you've been pulling back the curtain a tad more on your life. Your wife's on there. We see your baby in the video, which is so well done. Has that been an easy thing for you to do, or difficult, or is it natural?
When I wrote the song, I kind of was also writing the treatment for the music video at the same time, which that happens a lot, actually. And so for some reason, when I was seeing it in my head, my wife and my daughter were in it. And so the answer to the question is yes, it is difficult because, I look over at my wife, I'm like, I know that you said that you want to be in the video, but we can't actually get confirmation that our daughter, who's only a couple months old, wants to do this. We're just kind of shoving her in this without asking her. What about when she, comes of age and has a feeling of whether or not she likes her parents, and will she hate us for this? And yeah, there's all kinds of questions you ask yourself. But man, just the time we're living in, I don't want, I respect a lot of, artists and I think a lot of artists make a good decision to keep their family out of the limelight, but, I don't know. I think that I'm hoping that if you can manage it and you stay ahead of it, and maintain the importance of just your own house being a private area where you can always be who you want to be. I'm hoping that my daughter won't hate me in the future for putting her in a music video.
Is there any indication so far whether or not she's a fan of your music? Are there certain songs that make her cry or certain songs that calm her down? I feel like children are brutally honest. Maybe the only place you can get honesty anymore is from a child, even a young one. Do you think that she will be a fan, or do you think she's more into country music, let's say?
Her and her mom have something very similar in common, which they're completely unaffected by my talent. Which is actually, I like that about them. But I have written a few one-handed songs on the piano lately because I'll hold her, my daughter in my lap, and I'll just kind of play around with the piano with my right hand, and she seems to stop squirming and listen, but it only lasts for a few seconds until she's on to her next fuss.
So clearly you've been creating some art during this pandemic and while we are all quarantined. Just the music part of Level of Concern, was that created out of thin air within the last 4 or 5 weeks, or had you been holding on to that for a while?
That was from the ground up, created in such a quick, rapid pace.
Wow.
I wanted to just kind of keep up with the idea and just follow it. And, you know, it started with my mom made a passing comment like, man, I really could use an upbeat song right now to distract me from all this. And I kind of took that as a challenge. And, you know, lyrically, I didn't want to be too on the nose with it. So I wanted to pair it with a true story where, you know, when I first met my wife, I was ready to dive into a relationship. I was ready to go. And she was a little more hesitant and kind of uncertain about me and in general, which I get. And not to compare a pandemic with the uncertainties of a relationship, but in that moment when maybe feelings aren't being reciprocated into a relationship you really feel is important to you in your little world, there's a lot of uncertainties. And to kind of give the song another narrative that's not solely based off of this thing that we're going through as a world, was kind of my attempt at making the song still have some life after hopefully all this blows over.
And the goal of this song was not to make you guys more famous. I don't even know if that's possible. You actually had a very selfless goal in mind, and that was to raise money for all of the people that really support you guys, have helped you grow from the band that was playing in front of 3 people in an empty gymnasium to stadiums now that are jam-packed. And these are the everyone that makes these concerts happen.
Yeah, I mean, Josh and I have been traveling for almost 10 years now, and we've met a lot of great people, not just that tour with us and our crew, but every arena in every city. Man, those big buildings, they're right in the middle of these cities, and they're kind of the nucleus of energy to these cities. And they hire a ton of people. They have so much staff, and they're so nice too, all over the country. And I don't know, it was just a moment where we saw that charity go up, and I knew some guys from Live Nation that were doing it, and it just made sense to connect it. And yeah, not that we were looking for any more fame, but it just felt right.
Crew Nation is the charity that will help out all these great men and women that help all the bands we love put the show on. And when you see a band playing an arena, I've been very lucky to get backstage because I'm working. In my normal life, no one would let me back there. But approximately, Tyler, for a 21 pilot show, other than you and Josh, what's the crew number approximately?
Well, when we're doing our own headline tour in arenas in the States, we will travel with upwards of 75 people. And that's not including the arena staff, which is hundreds. And so, you know, it's so many that I don't even get to learn all their names, which is a shame. So I just kind of go, hey, and point at them.
Yeah.
But the way that this kind of like the behind the scenes of the music industry would work for these people is they land a gig and they're hoping that they get to land the next one coming up. There's no certainty to the gigs that they can land. And so they kind of have to hustle and network to get that next gig so that they can continue to fill up their calendar. And when something like this hits, man, it blows their whole plan up. You know, I know guys personally that had just applied for a house and were just about to, you know, just got pregnant and were about to have their first kid. And then this happens. It just, I guess as the hiring musicians, we could rip the rug out from under them and say, hey, we got no shows, we got no money, you know, we're pulling out. But it just didn't seem right. It still doesn't seem right. And so I know that Josh and we're doing everything we can to keep our people on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then seeing this charity that's taking care of not just local crews, but touring crews as well. And it just felt right.
And on the plus side, these guys used to light a car on fire every single night. So they were just burning through cars. Now they've stopped doing that. So the auto industry is already making a boom just from them not being on the road right now. It's great.
We got 30 of these Cadillacs just sitting in the garage waiting to get blown up.
All right, I got some musical questions for you, Tyler Joseph. Do you see a majority of 21 Pilots songs that you may make right now during the quarantine leaning towards a disco-y, funky, like Daft Punk-esque vibe? Of course, in the history of 21 Pilots, there's some of those songs, but do you see more of those?
That's not necessarily the goal. I think that this song in particular, with all of its circumstances, it also had me learning how to play the guitar for the first time. And it just felt right to go to that Nile Rodgers, funky lick. And I don't know, I think maybe it's because I've been playing the bass and the strumming patterns of some of the ukuleles that I've played in the past just lent itself to having a little more funk to it. It was really exciting for me to learn how to play guitar, play those chords, write a song, and it just started to feel disco-y. I didn't have the word disco in mind as I was writing it. It wasn't until I was talking to Josh that word even came up. So no, I don't think that we have that, in mind as we're creating more music at all. In fact, I wouldn't mind kind of offsetting that song with more of what we're used to. I don't know. It's hard to. I like to give the song its own life. And so whatever the song wants to do, I let it do. And I guess that's my own way of not taking blame if the song sucks, but also following whatever comes natural. Like I start playing these chords, and then all of a sudden that snare drum, it's super dry and it decays really fast. And wouldn't that feel great with this tempo? And then it just starts to build. And so a question like that, am I trying to write certain type of music? Man, it's not really where my head's at.
And we've talked about that actually, right? Probably the first time we ever had a conversation. I remember that so vividly. Listen, we got about 3 or 4 minutes, and I've got 4 quick things I want to get to. This year marks radio's 100th anniversary. What has been the impact of radio for 21 Pilots?
I mean, man. I wouldn't be where I am without radio, without the platform. I think there's such a it's such a great litmus test of each city that these stations are planted in, even the nationally syndicated ones, where it's real time. If someone likes the song, these stations know that, and so it's a medium where even though it feels like it's run by big wigs, guys in suits, it's just not the case. Having kind of gone through that circuit, it's still very organic, and it reacts to the people who listen to that music. And for that to have that vessel to release music and have people hear it has been extremely important for us.
I'm going to name 2 songs at a time. You just have to choose one. And this is kind of a lightning round. Are you ready? And I'm not saying it's the best song, your favorite song to play. It's just House of Gold, Car Radio.
Car Radio.
Fairly local, Heavy Dirty Soul.
Heavy Dirty Soul.
My Blood, Jumpsuit.
Don't do that. I'm going to have to go with My Blood for me.
And the last one, Stryker or Klein?
Keep in mind, I come with this adorable dog.
Oh, Klein.
Yeah, there we go. Well done. That is correct.
Tyler Joseph, 21 Pilots, Level of Concern is the song. There's also hoodies available to help benefit the charity Crew Nation. Thank you for the relationship over the years and the effort you put in at the live shows and creating the art is so appreciated. And thanks for everything you do, man.
Guys, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And, Stryker, you're the first one that put us on, so I owe you something, like a few dollars or something.
You don't owe me anything. You guys did the work. All I had to do was say, I freaking love this song and I'm putting it on the radio. I did nothing except use this finger and press play. So thank you. Stay safe. The best to your wife and your daughter. And hopefully we get through this and see you at a show.
All right, man. I'll see you guys there.
See you later. Bye.
Thanks.